Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. And not often a nation wins less than 5% of the gold medals at an international track and field event, and it's deemed a success. But this is St. Lucia's story coming out of last weekend's CARIFTA Games in Trinidad and Tobago. A nation with a population of approximately 180,000, St. Lucia sent a 21-member squad to the CARIFTA Games. They finished sixth in the standings with 2 gold, 1 silver and 1 bronze. Well, the 2 gold medals came courtesy of 15-year-old JD Emmanuel, who won the girls' under-17 sprint double, etching her name in the history books as the first St. Lucian junior athlete to win gold in the sprints at the CARIFTA Games. Well, in speaking to SportsMax.tv, president of St. Lucia Athletics, Dora Henry, labeled Team St. Lucia's performance at the 52nd CARIFTA Games a source of national pride. This past week was nothing short of hectic, but my heart is so full of pride for what Team St. Lucia accomplished. It was a phenomenal showing. The performances in Trinidad show we're moving in the right direction, but there is still much to be done, and we cannot do it alone. Well, joining us on Zoom is St. Lucia's head coach for the CARIFTA Games, Denise Hermon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon.
Yes, so good to chat with you, Denise. And I mean, St. Lucia continues to make history. You all have everything to be happy of. And I was looking at JD and I'm thinking, is this a young Julian Alfred in the making? Talk to me about, what you achieved, Denise, and how good it feels, to bring these medals back home.
It is a very great feeling for us to be able to bring these medals back home. And to get that 2 double gold medals in the sprint event is a great achievement. I mean, Julian, as she stands out, is the role model. She's the trendsetter. So we have the little ones like 16-year-old JD, who's coming out there and showing us that, hey, I can do this too.
Yeah, tell me a bit about JD, because, her performances are very dominant. But, what type of person is she? How is she when, it comes to taking instructions, when you give her things to do? Just tell us a bit about her personality, please.
I would say that she's a shy person. She does not like. So if you had given her that interview, she'd probably shy about it. But I'm 16-year-old, but she's very coachable.
Okay.
She takes the instructions. If you teach her something, she's quick to pick it up and she'll practice it. If she does not understand, she will ask questions. But she's a very coachable person. She's a strong-minded young individual. She is a young lady with much confidence. She believes in herself. Any challenge that comes her way, she's up to it.
Yeah, and what stood out for me when it came to St. Lucia and their athletes, and I know we'll say, okay, 4 medals in total, but, I was doing an interview yesterday, and it kept ringing in my mind, quality versus quantity. And I think what we saw from these St. Lucian athletes had to be quality medals, because you had Nia Jules, getting that national record in the that silver medal in the pole vault. And that is another achievement that, St. Lucians must be really proud of.
Very much so, very much so. Naya has always, she continued to do well for St. Lucia. She set the pole vault record a few years ago, and she came in there with that record. It was broken, like if she got a national record. It was the CARIFTA record before it was broken this year by the Bahamian, but she's a source of inspiration to the younger athletes. She's been to the CARIFTA. She always motivates and encourage her, and we are happy that we had Naya on our team to motivate, encourage, and she keeps fighting. She's always a fighter. She always wants to do well for St. Lucia.
Denise, it's significant in my estimation that while the St. Lucians are celebrating this outstanding CARIFTA Games experience in Trinidad and Tobago, you weren't even there with your strongest team, because your outstanding under-20 sprinter, Naomi London, got hurt before the games and didn't quite manage to compete. So I'm just saying that, if Naomi was there, your rewards would quite likely even been greater than they are now. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, yes. We had very high hopes of Naomi being there, but like you mentioned, due to injury, she was unable to attend these CARIFTA games. And we have such confidence and belief prior to the CARIFTA games. She just broke the national junior record. And so it would have been a good follow-up for her attending the CARIFTA games and showing the progress she has made.
Can you talk to us about the youth program that you have in St. Lucia at the moment? Because we can recognize from a distance that Julian Alfred's success in the past couple of years, highlighted by her Olympic glorious victory in the 100 meters, is unquestionably something that would trigger a lot of inspiration among the youth in St. Lucia. But in respect of your track and field program, can you talk to us about what's happening there and the kind of work that the association is doing to unearth the talent and develop the talent?
Yes, in St. Lucia we have a number of clubs, and what you find is that we have a lot of passionate coaches. And if you go back and you look at Julian Alfred in St. Lucia, she had her coach for a number of years. If you look at JD, I've been JD's coach for a number of years, and the coaches in their own clubs, they do put in a lot of effort. They provide opportunities. What the association has done, it has provided a number of meets where these young people can showcase their talent. So it's not a matter of, okay, we have a CARIFTA trial and that's it. But the young people, they have something to look forward to. So they prepare, they train hard, and so they come out and they express themselves at those games.
Yeah, because I wanted to hear a little bit more from you about the coaching, because we know that coaching plays an integral role in developing athletes. And you said there are a number of passionate coaches in St. Lucia. Would this be nationwide, or is it concentrated more in regions and so on? Because we know that coaching is a platform to developing world-class talent.
It is nationwide, and if you look around and you go around the island or in the different clubs that training, you find a number of young people. So what also has happened is that you don't have to say, for example, a club with maybe 15 and 16-year-olds, but you will find them from very young. So you'll find them, the 4-year-olds are there. Even once they can move, they're already in a club because they see their siblings or the parents think, okay, I feel I need to have my child to join a club. So normally you find a range for those clubs. You have a lot of younger athletes and they grow up into it. There are a lot of athletes who are still not in clubs, but then those clubs that produce those athletes, they have a wider range of athletes, younger, about the 13, 14-year-olds, we have the 16, 17-year-olds, and then we do have senior athletes as well. Although the senior athletes you find less in the clubs, but we do have, in some clubs, we still do have them.
Yeah, and I know that your development in track and field in the country, Denise, is not just limited to track, because we spoke of the pole vault success as well. And we know that Laverne Spencer had been a global representative for St. Lucia in the high jump. She was a CARIFTA champion back in her teenage years. So can you talk to us about the field events and the likelihood of non-track events getting the kind of attention that would also develop stars in those events?
Yes, if we even look at St. Lucia before, now we have our sprints showing up their faces, but before, the two areas that St. Lucia used to perform well at was actually the field events and the middle and long distance. St. Lucia's first CARIFTA gold medal on the track was the 3,000 meters, and it was by Ralston Pumfield when St. Lucia hosted the CARIFTA Games. We've had other athletes like Mabek Edgar, who's a multi CARIFTA medalist, silver and bronze in 800 and 1500. We've had pole vault medals, we've had javelin, we've gotten medals in the discus, the shot put. This year, Denzel, one of our premier throwing athletes, he came out fourth, but he's somebody who has been growing in the under 17 category. He has medal. He also medal at the Commonwealth Youth Games. So we are there in the field events. We have started back because we have Miss Snack who got that bronze medal in the high jump this year. This is an area we're hoping to continue to grow in. This year, for the first time, we also had hurdles. So apart from the field events where we are trying to improve on and to try to get better at, we're looking at events such as 400-meter hurdles. Maybe soon enough, we might go to the 110-meter hurdles. The under 17 athlete made it was in the finals. The under 20 athlete, male athlete, he did not make it to the finals, but I bet that he acquired some very valuable experience from running the 400-meter hurdles at the CARIFTA Games.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, your field events prowess, I remember Dominic Johnson was the leading pole vaulter in the Caribbean for many years, and Janelle Shepherd, the high jumper, was also side by side with Laverne Spencer as an outstanding regional high jumper, and not only regional, but in this hemisphere as well. She was pretty strong. And your marathon runner, Zephrinus Joseph, he had gone to the Olympics as well. I quite remember his exploits as well, with some heated battles with the Vincentian Paminus Ballantyne. But, you know, I want to congratulate you from the SportsMax Zone on the work that has been going on with St. Lucia's track and field, and we wish you continued success. We are all anxious to see how JD will develop and continue to improve. And we are not forgetting Naomi London, because she is the #1 junior at the moment in the country. It's just because of injury why she wasn't at the CARIFTA Games. But the stage is set for St. Lucia's continued rise in track and field. And I hope that the government and the corporate St. Lucia is assisting with the process, because you know, it's one thing for the coaches and the administrators to be working hard, but of course, you know, Denise, that there has to be investment financially to facilitate the growth of the sport.
Yes, thank you very much. And yes, this is something that even the president spoke about, that we're hoping that corporate St. Lucia comes on board. They could see that they're not on board, and we're doing pretty well. So imagine if they came in and provided the resources that the athletes need, the nutrition, the physiotherapy, the equipment. It is going to get even better. So I'm hoping that corporate St. Lucia comes on board and assists those athletes so we could even get to greater heights.
All right, well, Denise, thank you very much for talking with us as we leave you with the outstanding JD Emmanuel with her 100-meter victory, defending or repelling the challenges of Jamaicans and Bahamians down to the finish there. But congrats again, Denise, and all the best with your track and field program in St. Lucia.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Denise Hermon there, head coach of the St. Lucia team for the CARIFTA Games, and she would have been a huge part of the successes there. And you were having gone to St. Lucia last year to be a part of the St. Lucian embrace of Olympic champion Julian Alfred. I guess there's a part of you that feels connected with St. Lucia.
No, I'm just here thinking that I might have to go again really soon, because if JD continues like this, they're going to need me to cover it again, Lance, and then you'll be by yourself. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up this part of the SportsMax Zone. But when we come back from the break, we're sending you to the track. Lance Whitaker has prepared a beautiful feature for us, and we're going to see what took place in the world of horse racing, the sport of kings, they call it, over the Easter weekend. So stay with us.